All right, so you ready to dive into this?
Let's go.
Okay, awesome. Today we're looking at Plaud.ai.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, they're all about like using AI to help you take notes.
Hmm.
And we're going to be going through their website as our source material for this deep dive.
Excellent.
Yeah, so we're going right to the source.
Right to the source. I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of like getting it straight from the horse's mouth, you know?
Mm-hmm. Getting their own narrative, how they present themselves to the world.
Yeah, exactly. Like what are they trying to, emphasize and how do they want to be seen?
And what are they highlighting as their main selling points?
Exactly. So right away we see they have these two main products, Plaud Note and Plaud Note Pen.
Okay.
And Note is like their professional grade note-taking thing. But Note Pen, that's the one that like really caught my eye.
Oh, why is that?
It's like a hands-free, always ready AI note-taking solution.
So you can just like be walking around and it's...
Yeah, and it even comes with like a free wearable accessory kit. So it's almost like having a little personal assistant, like always ready to jot down your thoughts.
So it's really leaning into that sort of like capturing those fleeting ideas.
Exactly, yeah. Those like aha moments that you don't want to forget.
You're in the shower, you have a great idea, and boom.
Exactly, and then later you're like, wait, what was that great idea I had?
Exactly.
But yeah, so it's interesting. We've got Note and Note Pen, and it feels a lot like choosing between, say, using a laptop or a smartphone for notes.
I see what you mean.
They're both powerful tools, but they have different strengths.
Yeah, I can see Note being more for those like formal settings, you know?
Yeah, like in a boardroom or something.
Exactly, a client meeting, legal consultations where you need that really high quality recording and accurate transcription.
Yeah, whereas Note Pen feels more for like when you're out and about.
Grabbing those quick ideas, the voice notes, and
Yeah, like inspiration strikes and you
be
just...
able to get it down.
Yeah, okay, so let's look at some of the features that they both share.
Okay, sounds good.
So one press recording.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right, like I'm always fumbling with my phone trying to get the voice recorder up.
Yeah.
This just makes it so much easier.
So convenient.
And then they've got voice to text transcription, which honestly is a lifesaver.
For anyone who hates transcribing.
Exactly, like who wants to listen to an hour-long meeting and type it all out?
Ugh, not me.
And they give you 300 minutes free every month.
Oh, wow, that's generous.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Especially for transcription, because that can be expensive.
Oh, for sure.
You know, those services can really add up.
Yeah, and then the feature that really like highlights the whole AI thing is the AI summarization.
Okay, so it can like condense everything down for you?
Exactly, and they're using like the best LLMs,
Right.
which are these large language models that are like the brains behind all the AI stuff.
Ah, so it's not just some basic algorithm, it's using some serious AI power.
Yeah, so instead of having to go through pages and pages of notes, you get this like concise summary that highlights the key points.
That's amazing. It's like having a personal assistant who listens to the meeting for you and tells you what's
Yeah.
important.
Totally, and the coolest thing is Plau.ai.
Huh.
They don't just like sit back and relax. They're constantly working on updates and improvements.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, like they just released Plaud App 2.0.
Oh, wow, 2.0 already.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And they integrated GPT-4 for even more powerful AI capabilities.
So they're really keeping up with the latest advancements in AI.
And they even created PLED Web, so now you can access everything online.
So it's accessible from anywhere.
Exactly.
That's impressive, you know, that constant drive to improve and innovate.
Yeah.
What do you think that says about them? You know, are they just trying to stay ahead of the competition or...
It makes me think they're really committed to like giving their users the best possible experience.
That's a good sign.
And they seem to be going after a pretty wide range of professionals too.
Like, who are they targeting?
Well, they mention everyone from people who do a lot of client calls and business meetings to creatives who want to capture inspiration. Even medical professionals taking patient notes.
So they're really trying to make AI note-taking a thing for everyone.
Yeah, it seems that way.
It's like they're saying no matter what you do, AI note-taking can make your life easier.
Yeah, and they've got like a huge reach already, over 300,000 users in 168 countries.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
I know, right? And they've been featured in some big publications too.
So they're getting some serious attention.
Plus, the testimonials on their website are like glowing.
What are some of the things people are saying?
Well, there's this one guy, Michael Soledad, who calls Note Pen a wearable AI memory capsule.
I love that. That's a great way to describe it.
Right. It's like this little device that can help you remember everything.
Augmenting our memories with AI. That's fascinating.
I know. And then there's Paul Hippert, who calls Note Pen the best voice recorder ever made.
Wow, high praise.
Yeah. Seems like people are really loving these products.
It makes you wonder, though, with all this talk about AI and note-taking,
Yeah.
what about data privacy?
That's a great question, and honestly, it's one of the things I'm most curious about.
Yeah, because they're capturing our thoughts, our conversations.
Really personal stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how are they handling all of that?
That's something we definitely need to dig into.
Yeah. Let's see what they have to say about data privacy and security.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah. So, like you said, data privacy is a big deal.
Huge, especially when you're talking about a tool that's basically capturing your thoughts.
Yeah. So, what do they actually say about how they handle all that data?
Well, on their website, they emphasize user control. Like they make it clear that users have control over their data.
Okay, that's good.
Hmm.
But do they go into any specifics?
Yeah, they talk about using advanced encryption and storing everything with leading cloud providers like AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, all the big names.
Oh, okay, so they're taking security seriously.
It seems that way. Yeah, they're definitely aware of the concerns people have.
It's good to hear they're not just brushing it under the rug.
Right, exactly. Transparency is key.
But I'm still curious, like, can you opt out of certain data collection practices?
That's a good question. They do mention data export, so you can download your own data.
Okay, so you have some control over what happens to it.
And they also highlight their compliance with GDPR and other privacy regulations.
So they're ticking all the boxes.
Seems like yeah, they're definitely trying to meet those high standards for data protection.
Okay, that's reassuring. But you know what else I found interesting?
What's that?
Their emphasis on community. Like they've got this whole feedback community where users can share ideas.
Oh, that's cool. So it's not just a one-way street.
Yeah, and they even run challenges like hashtag never take notes and hashtag Achieve 2024.
Oh, what are those about?
They're just like fun ways to encourage people to use the technology in creative ways.
Oh, so it's like building a community around their products.
Exactly, and I think that's a smart move
Why do you see that?
because it makes people feel like they're part of something bigger, you
Yeah.
know?
I see. It's like they're creating an ecosystem where users are actually invested in the company's success.
Exactly. And it creates this feedback loop where Plau.ai can learn from its users and make their products even better.
It's a win-win for everyone involved.
And those challenges, it's a fun way to get people thinking outside the box, you know?
Yeah, it gets people excited about the technology and how they can use it in their own lives.
Exactly. So I think we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have. We've looked at their products, the features, the whole data privacy thing, their community focus.
Yeah. So where do we go from here?
Well, I think it's time to zoom out a bit.
What do you mean?
Well, we've been focusing on Plau.ai specifically, but what about the bigger picture?
You mean like the implications of AI note-taking in general?
Exactly. We touched on data privacy, but there are other ethical considerations too.
Like what?
Well, for example, how might AI note-taking impact human memory?
Whoa, I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, well, we become too reliant on these tools.
And like lose our own ability to remember things.
It's a real possibility,
That's kind of scary to think about.
It is. It's like we're entering this uncharted territory where the line between human intelligence and artificial intelligence is getting blurry.
Yeah, it's exciting and terrifying at the same time.
Exactly. And it raises a whole bunch of new questions.
Like what?
Well, how do we ensure that these AI tools are used ethically?
Good question.
How do we design them in a way that augments human intelligence instead of replacing it?
And how do we prepare ourselves for a future where AI is everywhere?
These are the million-dollar questions.
Yeah, my mind is officially blown.
Mine too. And unfortunately, we're running out of time for this deep dive.
Oh, man, I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
We have, but hopefully it's given our listeners something to think about.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Just this, as AI becomes more and more powerful, we need to be critical, we need to ask questions, and we need to demand more from the technology that's shaping our world.
Well said. I couldn't agree more.
The future of AI is not set in stone. It's something we're all creating together.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, it really makes you think, huh?
It does, doesn't it? Like we started with this cool note-taking gadget.
And now we're like talking about the future of humanity.
It's funny how technology does that. It sneaks into our lives.
And suddenly we're facing all these big existential questions.
Exactly. Like, who are we? What matters? What's the point of it all?
It's like Plaud.ai with this whole, make note-taking easier thing.
Right.
They've kind of accidentally opened up this can of worms.
This Pandora's box of ethical dilemmas.
Yeah, and maybe it wasn't so accidental.
What do you mean?
Maybe by pushing the boundaries of AI like this.
Yeah.
Companies like Plaud.ai are actually forcing us to have these conversations.
Before it's too late.
Right, exactly. Like, we need to be thinking about this stuff now.
Well, we still have time to shape the future, you know?
Yeah, and it reminds us that technology is never neutral.
It's true. It's always shaped by the people who create it and the people who use it.
And that brings us back to the whole community aspect.
Right. Their focus on building a community around their products.
It's more than just marketing, you know?
I think so, too. It's like they're acknowledging that the future of AI,
Yeah,
it's not something they should decide on their own.
right. It's a conversation we need to have together.
Exactly. And by creating that space for feedback and dialogue
They're giving users a voice.
and a chance to shape the technology that's going to be shaping their lives.
It's like they're saying, hey, we don't have all the answers.
Let's figure this out together.
And I think that's really important.
It is, because too often technology is presented as this like inevitable force.
Yeah, like it's just happening to us.
Exactly. But PLAU.ai is kind of turning that on its head.
By empowering users to be part of the process.
They're saying, hey, you have a role to play in this.
And that's what I find so exciting about this whole deep dive.
And you too, it's not just a product review.
It's a conversation about what it means to be human in the age of AI.
Exactly. And I think that's a conversation worth having.
So as we wrap up here, any final thoughts for our listeners?
Just this, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
Challenge assumptions, demand more from the technology that's shaping our world.
I love that, because the future of AI, it's not predetermined.
It's something we're all creating together.
Beautifully said. Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive.
It's been a pleasure.
A huge thank you to our expert for all these amazing insights.
Of course. Happy to be here.
And, of course, to our listeners for joining us on this journey.
We hope you enjoyed it.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
Okay.
So don't hold back. Share your experiences, your ideas, your hopes, your concerns.
Ask questions, debate with each other in the comments.
It all matters. It all contributes to making sure we're all heading in the
right direction, together.
Okay, and one last thing before we go.
Shoot.
If you found this deep dive, I don't know, maybe thought-provoking?
Or even just entertaining.
Hopefully a little bit of both, right?
Right.
Don't keep it to yourself. Share it.
Yeah. Spread the word. Hit that like button.
Tell your friends, your family, your coworkers.
Anyone who you think needs to be part of this conversation.
And, of course, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on
future deep dives.
because we're just getting started.
Oh, yeah. We're going to keep exploring all the different facets of AI.
The practical stuff, the ethical dilemma.
Sometimes even the just plain weird stuff.
Because, let's face it, AI is pretty weird sometimes.
Ah,
But it's also,
incredible.
it's exciting.
And it's powerful.
And we're all on this ride together, like it or not.
So the more we can learn about AI, talk about it openly, and help shape its development.
The better off we'll all be. That's the bottom line.
Absolutely. Your willingness to learn, to share, to engage.
It might feel small, but it's making a difference. Trust me.
Keep questioning, keep exploring, keep diving deep.
And we'll see you in the next episode.
See you there.